Rangers, like Red Rangers, are mainly on the other side of the team dynamic. Of course, there are exceptions. They're the most reasonable people of the group. They don't let petty arguments build to the point of going insane. Pink Rangers are the voice of reason. Many of them will try their best to understand and help the team get through something tough. A lot of times they have to deal with a ton of nonsense. Lin and Dairanger dealing with Ko is one example. Some Pinks are really serious, so it causes issues throughout the season, which enables some really good stories of character growth for themselves and the rest.
Dekaranger.
Mei is one of the more simplistic Pink Rangers done in Super Sentai. Sometimes being simple is not a negative. As like the other four, she's a part of a tribe, takes this role very seriously. I see her as the third in command of the team. When push comes to shove, she's there to help out. She mainly bonds with Boy, helped him through some of the problems he had when adjusting to this new time period. Her rivalry with Lamy was a good source of action and comedy, especially in that episode where they both kept switching outfits. There was no real point in it except to see who was better at kicking butt and looking sexy. She handles kids very well, which is this season's heavily feature. I wouldn't say she was a mother figure, but she used those traits to keep everyone in line when they ran into some of those crazy Dora monsters.
Magi Pink.
Hoka was one of the siblings that got away with a lot of stuff. She's like Kai, doing pranks, like turning into a fan and annoying everyone. Many times she would go over the line, like trying to marry a photographer who she barely knew. Fell into a lot of traps at Nai and Mei, but I wasn't really surprised. Out of the 5 Rangers, a few of them had to be the most affected by the death of their mother. Hoka usually covers up her sadness by doing all these foolish things. It's tough on her, even though it doesn't excuse the things that she's done. If you watch the season progress, Hoka slowly started to understand every time someone goofed up. Smokey when he got mad at Maji Shine, Makito going overboard with protecting everyone. She saw what worked and didn't work, especially when Kai single-handedly stopped Cyclops at the last minute. She saw that motivation. That's when she finally grew as a character. She stood up to people, trusted her gut feelings. That's why she tried to save Titan. She let go of her sadness, stopped being stupid, saw the bigger picture, and decided this is what I think is right.
Go Pink.
Matsuri has a dedication of protecting anyone in danger, which is a core element of the GoGoFive team. I would classify her position as main backup. She could be counted on in any situation or problem. She doesn't like seeing people picked on and knows when to step aside or challenge opposing sides. Even though she's the youngest of the family, I would consider her to be the big sister and wise for her age. When Matoi and Nagare failed to bring order, sometimes falling into the arguments themselves, she's there to snap everyone out of it. Matsuri looks for the best parts of a person and brings them out. Never thinks in the now, always looks at the big picture. She learned from her brothers on how to lead and handle the hardest of fights. When she returned in Gokaiger, she was the best choice to be picked. Most of the past Rangers tended to be hostile towards the Gokaigers, their powers technically stolen, although everyone should really be yelling at Akared. Matsuri knew the team needed some guidance. They weren't working together as best as they could and argued a lot. She helped them pull through and grew as a person over the 12 years.
Gokai Pink.
It was the stark contrast of her personality towards the pirate motif which made me like her. Unlike everyone else on the team, including Doc, she didn't really give anything practical to help out. She isn't a fighter. Ahim has no technical or medical background to fall back on. Plus, she's very clumsy since she was brought up on a planet of royalty, so she didn't really do anything for herself. But Marvelous accepted her as the 4th member, probably because he saw something in her. She shared the same horrific fate like the other 4. Her planet was wiped out. She has every right to be there with them. I find it fascinating to see her always calm and nice to people, even when she's kidnapped. The others were pissed off and freaking out when that happened. She's just like, I want to know who you are and maybe I can help you. I wish I had that confidence and frankly ballsy nature to stare down possible death in the eye. She learned that from being a diplomat. She's the person that always tries to find a better solution. In a way, Ahim is like a Star Trek character, always tries to find the good in people and reminds everyone to not turn to the other side or you'll know better than the villains.
Deca Pink.
Umeko is just funny. No matter what's going on, she's always tries to get everyone to cheer up. Many times she's taken advantage of this and takes those famous bubble baths, so Kyoryuger has to go insane to get her back on point. She was snobby with a lot of things. Umeko looked down at old stuff or very weird people, had no respect towards Murphy, barely tolerated Sen and his ways to solve problems, extremely stuck up and touting she was the leader of the team. But those were all her weaknesses and her strengths. Without that bubbly nature, she wouldn't have seen beyond Sen's odd personality. Arguing over who's the leader got everyone to work together. She's the last to give up, even loves to confuse people like Tetsu who didn't know how to interact with someone like her. I would say she's the cherry on top of the Dekaranger cake.
Kyoryuger pink.
Till this day, I want to know if Amy was basically copied from Summer and RPM. They're very, very similar, which is why I like Amy. She's the Pink Ranger that doesn't keep the team together. That's Nobu's job. Amy's rash, gets the job done, lived in a lot of different places, likes to use English when she's hyper. You don't know what she'll do or act like in each episode. She compliments Daigo really well. She didn't want to admit it, but she did like him. It was funny that the weird traits she could do were only developed because of her being really lazy. I like a character that goes against the normal expectations of a ranger or just being crazy. That's the reason why I like Kyoryuger in general. The whole season was balls to the walls.
Hobo Ranger.
Lin went to Japan just to become a Dairanger, left everything behind in China for her duty in the Dai tribe. She's pretty important to the team. I always felt sorry she had to give up so many things. Has to deal with her really weird uncle, has to live up to Master Kaku's high standards, then Ko comes around and acts perverted, driving her insane. The guys don't really even help her. But Lin always pushes on, even when a Gorma fell in love with her and Gara killed him out of spite. She's always tough, trains hard, keeps a smile on her face, and helps out as best as she could. I also like that she was from China. Majority of the series always has Japanese people. Of course that makes sense, but when they bring in a few who are from a different country or live many years in another, it gives the character more stuff, so I welcome when foreigners are a part of the cast. Dairanger teaches you a lot of different Chinese stories and ideals. I wish Lin did do more things in the season.
Time pink.
Time Pink is one of the best Pink Rangers ever done. Many would argue the best, period. Like how I poke fun at the Dekaranger team being dysfunctionals, the Timeranger team is a group of damaged people. Like Ayase, Yuri joined the Timeranger department in order to arrest Don De Niro. He's the reason why her entire family was murdered. Yuri takes the tough, stiff Pink Ranger role to the max, in some cases going past the line. She doesn't care to follow orders, doesn't care about her partners in the beginning. Everyone is being an object, between De Niro squeaking by and the fake captain infiltrating the Timeranger team. Something always went wrong. It made her cold and not give anyone a chance. Bringing in Tatsuya while he had his own issues, staring down the person who had the same face that tried to kill you off. I'm not surprised that she followed up on wanting to kill all the monsters like Mad Blast. It wasn't about being a cop in that moment, just pure revenge after every single screwed up setback. Yuri's change took the entire length of the season, which is very rare for Sentai to do. Most characters will go from jerks to team player in around 10 episodes. That's what made her character better, to me. She fell in that bad side for a long time. As other characters tried to help and saw her friends slowly build lives in 2000, it slowly cracked that eggshell, culminating with her admitting that she loved Time Red. It was a very slow process that helped all 6 of them find who they really are.
Shinkenger pink.
Mako for me is the most balanced Pink Ranger. I mean by that, she has the usual traits of a ranger and a woman. She wants to be a great wife, help out friends and loved ones. She even has great foresight. She sensed Sakura was hiding something very important from day one, but doesn't fall into the trap of being defined by a boyfriend, being ditzy or foolish. Mako also isn't a broken character. Yes, she was raised to become the next Shinken Pink, but didn't mind that it was her main purpose in life, like Kotaha and Chiaki who had issues with that. Her focused episodes were really well done. The episode with her mom that got paralyzed as the past Shinken Pink reminded her and us that being a ranger has costs. We tend to forget that people can get killed and badly injured during fights like this. That gave a great motivation for her to not follow in the path that Dayu did. She's better than that.
Boukenger pink.
This was an odd choice for me to pick as my favorite Pink Ranger. The way Haruka Tsunade played her was the reason. Sakura never fit in anywhere. She wanted to be the super tough, do everything perfect woman. That's what she was trained to do in the military, but no one really likes that. She always struggled between her military side and civilian side. You could see she wanted to be friends with everyone, but it went against a lot of things she didn't like doing. Took things way too serious at times, threatened Boukenger Yellow because she didn't trust her at the start. No memory, no nothing, could be a spy. In a way, Sakura was like Batman. You could see she wants to be quote-unquote normal, but her duty and obligations butt in. I was happy to see her go, screw it, taking a cue from Shelta, snuck on Dairanger and headed into space with Akashi. The Pink Rangers are a hard bunch of characters to choose from. I always like when they have a fun, comical side that complements their serious presence. Too much of either position usually ends up making them two-dimensional. Some seasons, sadly, having a few Pink Rangers fall into this problem. What are your thoughts on my choices? Who are your favorites? And if you have an idea or suggestion on a future topic you'd like me to do, leave a comment down below. Next time, we'll be on Green Rangers.